crews to accomplish the work at hand. 2 examples of lost productivity include our reclamation program, where the target was originally 3 miles each paving season. Our current target for street reclamation is now 1.5 miles, almost half, or it is half. The second example is our concrete program for sidewalk maintenance. The material budget has been reduced by 1/3 from 90,000 to 60,000 due to lost productivity. Another weakness we identified was the funding levels for sidewalk and street resurfacing. For the past 2 years, the general fund has provided money for contract sidewalk improvements, which has been a tremendous help in attacking the backlog of maintenance projects. The city has not funded any new sidewalk construction for some time. As previously discussed during the presentation of deferred maintenance, the resurfacing program is underfunded, with the city not being able to keep pace with the current pavement condition rating. Our current pavement condition rating is 68, which equates to an overall fair condition. Almost 40% of our streets are considered to be poor or very poor. The trend toward poor to very poor street condition will continue without additional funding. And then another weakness we identified was lack of upward mobility within the department, but this really is typical of any city. Advancement is provided when staff leaves. Staff has developed knowledge that for their advancement they may need to move to a higher position at another city or go on to the private sector. Opportunities, drainage improvements on residential properties, as well as within the public right-of-way, the sidewalk program, resurfacing reclamation program, stormwater public education outreach, and other opportunities we see in the future include projects from the transportation strategic plan, such as the one-way street conversion, the 2-way traffic for Jefferson Street and Franklin Street. That's slated to improve the business climate of downtown Monroe. As part of the downtown master plan update, the estimate cost is between $7 to $10 million. Then another opportunity is harnessing new technology when possible. Staff has tracked costs for work orders and other projects over the years using Excel spreadsheets. This method is pretty cumbersome and time consuming. Currently, we are moving to a web-based program called Facility Dude, which allows our crew leaders to input job specifics into field using tablets, and the program will provide us with an ability for enhanced reporting, as well as tracking quantitative control of our performance measures. Threats, lessening of regulatory abilities. Fast-track permitting continues to be considered by the state legislature for erosion control to allow development to proceed once plans are decided by the consultant. The concern with fast-track permitting is that it precludes the city's ability to review a site until there is a problem or issue. And this could result in consequences to the downstream property owners and degradation of our water resources. Other concerns we have with fast tracking is that there may be added costs to the developer for cleanup and possible fines, as well as delays added costs and sites for redesign to meet compliance. We also identified unfunded mandates for stormwater as a threat. The city of Monroe was issued its first National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, NBDES permit in 2005. The designation of Monroe as a Phase 2 city was an unfunded mandate, which led to the development of our stormwater utility. With each permit renewal, we are wary of added burdens to the city, such as the establishment of restrictions for nutrient loading and stormwater inspection of local industries and sites. Each added requirement is put in place with no additional money for implementation and must be covered by our current operating budget. And then regarding streets, a primary concern in the past has been a shift of responsibilities for secondary roadways within the state system from DOD's responsibility to local control. And without additional revenue, this transfer would affect the city's ability to maintain our current street system. Then last but not least, the improving economy as opposed to worker retention versus pay. We do expect to lose employees as the economy improves. As I said, we've always make additional money. That's in my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Jim. Jim will be followed by Lisa. Ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. I'm here before you to present the Planning Department's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Whoops, sorry. Bruce, you get me back.
She's just pushing buttons there.
I was trying to hurry. Okay. Our number one strength is the ability to maintain the same level of services with reduced staff and increasing workloads. The Planning Department consists of 5 divisions that offers a range of services: building, permitting, planning, code enforcement, and solid waste. Prior to 2010, our department consisted of 21 people, and due to the downturn in the economy, we lost 8 members of our staff, but we've been able to still maintain the same level of service as well as add additional job duties throughout the years. Just a few of those within each division is code enforcement. We've revised the public health nuisance in order to be more strict, and we've become more proactive with minimum housing. Building standards, we're experienced in multiple plan review and inspections on same projects, and this is due to poor quality plans that we're receiving. And what is happening is, with the downturn in the economy, people are saving money on the design up front, but in the long term is costing them more time and money, as well as staff more time to review plans. So we're having to re-review plans multiple times. Permit Center now handles money since the customer service and collections has moved to a different building. We're responsible for the money for all the permitting. A few projects that we've added to the planning as very exciting projects are our long-range plans, the First Street, Concord Avenue, land use plan, and then we're getting ready to kick off the revision to our Unified Development Ordinance. And then we have the Greenway project. Another strength of our department is we're customer service oriented, both internal and external. We are committed to provide the citizens with courteous and consistent customer service in a timely manner. In order to provide the most effective and efficient customer service, all of our staff are cross-trained within their field so they can handle any project, question, or concern within their field. The majority of our questions, concerns, and complaints are addressed or resolved within 24 hours. The remaining within 48 hours, and that is typically due to the amount of research it takes to gather the requested information. We do strive to educate developers, applicants, citizens as much as possible. A couple of examples is through the building standards provides free consultations to all developers per request. Planning Department offers pre-development meetings for all projects. One of our unique customer service strength is our one-stop shop permitting center. We handle all the permitting for water resources, building, fire, engineering, and planning. Our department is also innovative and creative problem solvers. We've continually received complaints regarding litter throughout the city. I know the city established a program a couple years ago to have a roadside cleanup service for the major thoroughfares, but we receive a lot of complaints about the litter on the minor thoroughfares. So staff has developed a program to work with community service workers to hit those minor streets. We do that on a weekly basis. A couple other innovative projects that we've began is introduction of electronic plan review. In order to utilize space more efficiently, we've scanned all our plans, and now we require the new plans to be resubmitted digitally. We've also established iPads in the field to review plans, provide inspections, and receive emails and communicate with staff in the office and in the field. Our staff is passionate, dedicated, and experienced. Our department does consist of a group of employees that have good work ethics, we're go-getters. We have many years of history and experience. Majority of our department, the employees are born and raised in Union County, so therefore they have a desire to make Monroe a better place to live and work. Almost all of them have been here, I think other than 4, over at least 5 years, some of them 30 years. 2 out of 3 permit technicians have their International Code Council certification, and all 3 building inspectors have their level 3 certifications in multiple trades. So So some of our weaknesses were also our strengths. The number one is insufficient and reduced staffing levels. The planning department has experienced insufficient reducing staffing levels in 4 divisions due to budget constraints in 2011 and 2010 and 2011. We did lose 8 employees. The city is approximately 30 square miles and 33,000 people. Prior to 2010, our department had 4 planners, 4 code enforcement officers, and 4 inspectors that divided the city. Each one of those staff handled approximately 7.5 square miles and 8,000 people. Now we are operating under 2 per division, and they handle 15 square miles and about 16,500 people. Due to the reduced staffing levels, the department does lack the ability to plan for the city's growth and development and the needs for our community in a proactive manner. So we are planning on a reactive basis. We're not able to provide as much public outreach and education, develop new programs, and revise ordinance and codes as necessary. Just a few examples of projects that we've had on our list for a couple of years. Additional education forums similar to the one we're going to be doing in the historic district. It's been the goal of building standards and planning to hold a forum in downtown in order for business owners, developers to meet with staff to discuss how you renovate historic buildings. That's been a goal of ours. Another one is non-residential maintenance code. We have a community neighborhood program that we've been budgeted and received $5,000 to assist low to moderate elderly income people with minor repairs on their homes, but we have not had the staff or resources to develop those programs. Another weakness is our outdated plans and ordinances. The city's land use and plan and unified development ordinance are 10+ years old and do not reflect the current community vision or respond to changes in market conditions and development patterns. Along with the downturn in the economy and the outdated plans and ordinances, this has resulted in our limited growth for Monroe. One provision that was in our land use plan with the economy is the 2 units per acres and only 150 lots recorded in 5-year requirement and 50 lots recorded in 1 given year requirement. Like I said, this is a result of the economy and our provisions, and has resulted in we've only had 1 residential subdivision in 8 years approved. Outdated ordinances also resulted in majority of uses requiring a conditional district rezoning approval. This is not a developer-friendly approach to planning. Another weakness is the every other week bulky pickup for garbage. Prior to 2010, the city provided every week bulky pickup. As a negotiation tool to reduce the overall solid waste service costs, Waste Pro offered the city the ability to go to every other week bulky pickup for a reduced fee. We thought it was a good idea. According to the 2010 census data, the city contains over 45% of rental. Rental tends to have a high turnover rate. Therefore, we have people constantly moving in and out of the residents, leaving bulky at the road for weeks. Another weakness we believe is citywide is the lack of a citywide strategic plan, a lack of a common collective vision amongst staff, council, boards and committee, and our residents of where are we going and how are we going to get there. As the city plans for growth, we should look into developing a strategic plan that articulates a vision for our community. A strategic planning process is typically 4 phases. You have your gathering input from your senior management team and residents, and then you also have that followed by a council retreat. And those 2 input phases is what develops the strategic plan, and then you have your implementation to the strategic plan. A strategic plan consists of 5 areas that represent the commitment to serving the community, our vision for our community, our organizational mission, our core values, and our 5-year goals that support the long-term vision for the city that would be linked to our budget. An action agenda which outlines annual targets for action to advance progress toward the goals. This model aligns the city programs with spending with long-term goals, brings critical needs into focus, and provides an organizational roadmap for success. A good example of a municipality that has a nice strategic plan is the city of Fayetteville, if you ever want to look at that. Opportunities, of course, are going to be our new and updated plans and ordinances as we develop or complete our Concord Avenue and our land use plan along with our unified development ordinance. Hopefully this will result in new development and new businesses throughout the city. Another opportunity is we've added an additional code enforcement officer, so this will provide staff with the ability to be more proactive in code enforcement rather than reactive. We've also purchased a Laserfish enterprise content management system software called Workflow that will provide our department with the necessary tools to track plan review, provide electronic application submittal, and easily obtain data for reports. We believe another opportunity will be Greenway expansion. We are currently working on the phase 2 of the Bearskin Creek Greenway. We're hoping this will serve as a catalyst for additional greenways throughout the city. Threats to the city, limited growth and no growth. A significant threat to our city is the limited to no growth that we've experienced over the last 7 to 8 years. Since 2007, as I mentioned before, we've only had one residential subdivision. Limited to no growth affects the stability of the community in many different ways. It can lead to community decline and negative quality of life impacts. This results in loss of jobs, eroding tax base, growing crime, and vacant and deteriorated housing. It speaks uncertainty for commercial investment, and it limits the amount of revenues generated that results in budget constraints. Another threat to our city is the amount of vacant, abandoned, and deteriorated, dilapidated housing stock. Due to the downturn in the economy and funding for minimum housing enforcement in previous years have resulted in a stock of vacant and deteriorated housing. This